So I'm really grateful to share my story in this forum. I would love to actually inspire other women and tell them that anything is possible. And that's my story to share with you. So having said that, my name is Benita Ardenbaum. I'm the director and founder of Benita Ardenbaum Attorneys. We are a family law specialist firm and we also do conveyancing. I'm also a mediator and we do pro bono work as well. What we actually do is we do divorces. We do a lot of children matters. So I deal with a lot of custody disputes. I deal with maintenance, a lot of domestic violence in marginalized communities for vulnerable people. And that's just touching on what we actually do. There is so much in family law. I have an incredible team of women. We're an all-women firm. And I started off in a smaller law firm, but I found that at that time, which was many years ago, that it was very male-orientated and male-driven. And I wanted to bring a feminine quality to the work that I do. And so I decided to leave that practice and open up my own practice so that I could bring in my own passion and the values that I wanted to share with my clients. And that's when the Heart of Law was actually created. So I started my practice in 1999 with a secretary in one little tiny room in our home. And there were times where my secretary would just sit and read the You magazine, and because we just didn't have clients or enough clients, and I would sit and I would read case law, but slowly through sheer grit and determination and hard work, I managed to build up the incredible firm that I have today. So what has inspired me to live my purpose has been my experiences throughout my life, and that has really shaped me and shaped what I'm so passionate about. So when my mother was 16 years old, she fell pregnant, and for 7 months she hid the fact that she was pregnant, and eventually her parents obviously discovered it and they whisked her away to another city, and she brought so much shame on the family. The point though was that she had to give me up for adoption. So she didn't have a voice and she didn't have a choice. She had to do this because she was young and she was forced to give me up. I have other sets of wonderful parents, but the point was that she didn't have a voice. When I was between 6 and 7 years old, I was sexually abused. And again, I didn't have a voice. And what that did was that gave rise to a passion inside of me to actually help vulnerable people, but particularly women and children, mainly children. Women, there's still the scales of injustice that are tipped against them, but there are many vulnerable men out there as well who actually suffer severe injustices and where they don't have a voice. Many women do have forums for their voice, but a lot of men actually don't. So that is what has actually inspired me, and I love what I do and I do what I love. And so when younger people come to train in our firm, and I've got a number of female attorneys and we've had candidate attorneys as well, I've always said to them, first find your passion. You have to decide whether this is the right kind of law for you or not. And if it is, you will feel that fire in your belly and you will have this drive to actually do it. I get up at 4:45 every morning and I'm excited to come to work. I often say I see my vocation as my vacation because I live my purpose on a daily basis. I live my inspiration because I love what I do. So the work is not easy work. It's highly pressurized. We are responsible for people's lives, we definitely make a difference in people's lives, and the impact is tenfold, because where we can help caregivers and their children, it creates that ripple effect. And at the end of the day, I believe that women are the backbone of society. And when we can do this work, we actually change the trajectory of people's lives by doing it. So I have experienced many challenges. When I was 12 years old, my parents decided to immigrate and take me overseas. They thought it was best for myself and my brother. And I, again, didn't have a voice, but I became quite rebellious because I loved South Africa. And I decided at the age of 15 that I no longer needed to go to school. And because I thought it was a complete waste of time. And my parents didn't know what to do with me. So they just said, well, you've got a roof over your head. We're going to give you food, but that's it. And at the age of 15, I already started working. So I got a job in a shoe store, and I worked during the day in the shoe store, and in the evening I was waitressing. So from the age of 15 already, I was in the service industry, and I already loved it then. And that's why I always say I had a global education. It wasn't at that point in my life a school education, and I learned so much from that. And that's why I say those are the experiences that have actually shaped my life. When I was about 17 and a half years old, I met a school teacher who had previously taught me, and we have angels that always come along our path, and she was one of those angels. And she just said to me, don't waste your time, go and at least finish your education. So off I went, and in 6 months I finished my matric, and then I went into the army. And again, I was rebellious, and I ended up staying in army camp most weekends, busy cleaning toilets and kitchen pots, because I refused to salute my superiors. Anyway, but that sorted me out quite quickly. But I always had a longing to come back to South Africa. I felt that my roots were here, Africa was calling me. And so I got married at the age of 21, and I came back here to South Africa with a suitcase in my hand. My husband had his suitcase, and we basically started from nothing. He worked and he supported me through my studies 2 degrees later. And then after that, I just knew that I wanted to study law, to do the work that I'm doing, to do family law. I first prosecuted because I wanted to understand what it meant to be in court. I wanted to put people behind bars because I thought that, serve justice in that way. And then I slowly found my way that I really did want to rather be representative of people who were trying to navigate through very traumatizing circumstances. And that's what I find with the work that I do. We help really people to transition through enormous trauma. So I have a counseling background as well, and that helps me often, that when people do come to our offices, that they calm down, they come into our offices, and it is a very safe environment to be in. It's aesthetically beautiful. And our amazing team, and I mean, I have to say, it is my team that make me as well in the firm. And I have found also that women work, we have mastered the art of collaboration. We don't compete against each other. We all work as a team. And so that's been really, really amazing. So that's sort of part of the values that we espouse, because then we're just available 24/7 also for clients. And I've had clients who have phoned me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've had to drive to the hospital in the middle of the night because there's been domestic abuse. And so my work is varied and interesting as well. And it's really to make a difference. We really do make a difference in people's lives. I also want to share some of my accolades. And so I've been in the newspaper often. I've been on Media 24, on East Coast Radio, just speaking about my passion for children, vulnerable people, women. And I am also a member of the prestigious International Academy of Family Lawyers, and that is where members choose their peers for their skill and expertise in family law, and then we are recognized as the best in our country of origin. And so because of that, I have a great international presence. I do a lot of international divorces, and I also do a lot of international Hague abduction of children. And what that is, it's cross-border abduction of children between parents. So it's very varied what I do. But again, living my dream and my passion. What I teach younger people coming into the profession is also that they need to learn how to communicate. They need to have empathy and compassion for other people. If you don't have that, you're not even going to get through the door with our firm, okay? And it's also about the fact that women are good enough. Women often feel that they are not good enough. And so that's what we try and bring across, even with clients. We are good enough. And also just to try and draw boundaries, and that the word no is a complete sentence. And so these are the kind of things that I try and espouse within the firm, what I try and actually teach the other attorneys coming in. Younger women coming into the firm, it's about hard work, commitment and dedication. It's about the consistent small steps that we actually take on a daily basis that leads you to the greater goals. And I always say to them, again, once you find your purpose, the success will follow. It's not the other way around. It's not about let's try and be successful and then try and find your purpose within that. It is that passion that ignites your purpose within you, and then you follow that. So we have just expanded our firm, and we're currently 4 attorneys with support staff as well. We are onboarding another 2 attorneys now, but ultimately this firm is going to grow to 10 attorneys, all dealing with family law and conveyancing. And I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy that we should follow our passion, that we should deal with matters in an empathetic way. People are not just another statistic. We need to have that degree of care for people. And just again, in terms, I think, of the service that we try and give in the firm, it is to be available for our clients. It's to give them that personal service. I know it sounds so cliched, but we do really care about people because of our own experiences that we come in with. At the end of the day, I love people far more than I actually love the law. I just use the law as a tool and a means to get justice to be served. Justice is not always served, but we try and do as much as we can to actually help our clients to get what they need through the legal system. The balance that I try and find in my life is approximately 4 years ago, I lost 25 kilos. I woke up one morning and was tired of just feeling unhealthy and being fatigued, and I decided that that was enough, because I used to emotional eat as well because we carry a lot. And I started trail running and I started eating properly, exercising. It started making me obviously feel a lot better. And I also paint by numbers because I'm not terribly creative that way. So that allows me to relax. It calms my nervous system down. I sometimes do pottery. And I run women's retreats as well. Even downtime for me, it means also spending time with my adult children, with my husband of 35 years, and that's how I find balance in my life. Also, when I look at the people who have really been mentors in my life, I've met many mentors, and there have been many people who have impacted, influenced my life. And sometimes it's just a person passing by with a smile in the street. But I'd have to say that my greatest teacher, my greatest mentor has been my husband of 35 years. He's been my rock and support, and he's a very astute business person, and he's taught me also a lot about business. And he is always happy for me to be in the spotlight and to shine, and he's happy to take sort of the back stand. And also my children are my greatest fans, and I absolutely value their wisdom, because young people today are absolutely incredible. In parting, what I'd like to say is this. I think that when women stand together, shoulder to shoulder and not on top of each other's shoulders, that we actually can celebrate in each other's successes, that we can be there to support one another in our failures, that when we stand together as true sisterhood, there is no doubt in my mind, we are able to create magic.